Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another week's episode of Behind Enemy Lines, the football podcast where you take fans who are from a certain region but are not fans of teams from that region. Now, typically, we have myself, the Arizona Cardinals fan. We have Yazzie, the Jets fan, also in New England. How are you today, Yazzie?
I'm doing good. Having a good holiday weekend, but football season for your boy.
You're getting through it like a trooper, though. You're doing a lot better than you used to with these tough losses. So I admire you for that greatly. And we have Cox, typically here, our resident Bucks fan who also lives in New England. How are you, friend?
Happy Thanksgiving to everyone. I'm doing, but still sad.
Still
sad over the loss.
And those of you who are very astute observationalists will see that we have a new face with us this week. I know it's kind of hard to miss. He only takes up a quarter of the screen with us. But this is Mario. I want Mario to tell his story, his football fandom, who he roots for, why he's here, all that other kind of business. So Mario, welcome. Let the people know what's up with you.
Hey, thanks a lot, man. I'm glad to be here. I'm a Giants fan in enemy territory. I live in Eagles country, which is not very easy. But I want to say thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it. I love football, and we'll have a good time. Let's kick it.
I love it. You are making history as our first ever special guest, and a special guest you truly are. So we're happy to have
Soon
you.
To be regular?
Soon to be regular. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. If we can get him on, we'd be glad to have him again. But aside from Jay here, as the Jets fan living in New England, Mario may be the one who's the truest behind enemy lines here. We don't really have to deal with interdivision opponents where we live, Cox. So you might be more on the front lines than even us. And I'm sure you probably struggle with that because those Philadelphia fans of any sport are just generally miserable human beings.
Well, it's crazy in this area. Not only you have to deal with the Philadelphia fans, but you got to deal with Dallas Cowboys fans. I mean, they're all out of the woodwork. They're like roaches.
Oh, God.
After a win, you're going to see cigarettes stained, piss stained starter jackets with cowboy stars on it. It's really sad, but you're going to get that around here. So it's crazy. They're all the way in Texas, but how did they make it all the way here? And the only thing I can explain is they're like roaches, like I said before.
They just come out. I am very excited to hear your takes on the NFC East when we get to that on the docket. It's going to be a great time. But like I said, welcome to Mario. Good to see all you guys again. And like a lot of my cohorts have said, we hope you had a wonderful holiday. If you're from America here watching American football, with Thanksgiving, a lot of great time with family, a couple of good games, some stuff that moved around that we'll get to in a little bit. But it's been a very great time, and we hope you had a wonderful holiday with your families. But let's recap the week in football because it's a little extra packed this week with the extra games on Thursday and everything going on. And it was an eventful Sunday, folks. I think the major thing I want to cover first is poor Joe Burrow and his leg situation. I believe it's a torn ACL, torn MCL, and structural knee damage. Very tough thing to come back from. And like I mentioned a little earlier when we were doing our pre-show, I think I cursed him a little bit because I talked about exploded legs when we talked about the Washington and Cincy game, and so I feel partly responsible for that. I wish him nothing but the best, and I think we all agree that we wish him a speedy recovery. But what do you think this means for Cincy going forward? How does this change the complexion of things? I know he has a lot of opinions typically, and I can think of nobody better to kick us off here though than Coxie. What are you thinking?
I mean, this is devastating. This is devastating for him. The one goal for Cincinnati this year was to get through it without Joe Burrow sustaining a major injury, and they failed at that. They've been flirting, with this offensive line's bad. They've been just flirting with this all year, and it finally bit them in the ass, and in such a bad way. The question now is, do you even bring him back at all next year, or do you just shut him down for a year and a half now and just hope that in 2022 he can come back. That I mean, and just try. If they don't draft offensive linemen with all of their picks, all of their picks should just be offensive linemen at this point. So they got to shore that up because they have other pieces. They do. They just have to protect Burrow because he was doing amazing
100%.
with a crappy line. Imagine what you do if he had like the Colts offensive line. Like
Giant, right?
yeah, like he's just it'd be ridiculous. So I don't know. I mean, but they really have no one to blame but themselves. So, but it does suck. It sucks for Burrow. I don't feel as bad for the Bengals. I feel bad.
Yeah,
It
more
does suck.
specifically.
It does suck.
It was a real mismanagement, I think, like I said, like you alluded to, with them not getting any sort of offensive lineman help. This is the risky run when you are one of those lower tier teams who makes that reach to get that franchise guy. We've seen it years over years where they run this risk, they roll these dice, and things happen. Like if you think about it far enough back, like part of it was that he ran so much, but he also had a really bad line. But imagine RG3 if he had a little more protection back in the day after that seminal rookie season.
A whole nother NFL history timeline.
There's a lot of examples down the line, so I won't go through them all. And they gambled and lost in this one. And I think you bring up a salient point about, do they shut him down? Yaz, what do you think about this? Add your flavor to this.
Oh, I agree with Cox 1,000%. That they have to start thinking, what do we do with this? Because the structural damage aspect of this injury really scares me. You don't see that pop up often as far as like injuries, even if they're season ending. They're sitting at 2 wins right now. I know the Jets are terrible. I know the Jags are terrible, but it's hypothetically possible that they have that first pick. So let's just play a game here. If they have that first pick, what do you think they do? You think they take Trevor Lawrence and trade Burrow?
Trade it. No, trade the pick. 100% you trade that pick. Yeah. You trade it to the Jets.
Yeah. But no, I think Cox also made another good point that they set him up for failure to an extent because the offensive line is just so bad. They're dog shit, dude. They can't block anyone. And they kind of set him up for failure because he had the most attempts in the NFL as a rookie.
Mm-hmm.
So you're just asking for. I think you and me had this conversation like several weeks ago. Where like, I'm almost thinking like that they're asking him to do too much because it seems like they're asking for this injury to happen. And
100%. He dropped back too much, and they were a little handcuffed by having Joe Mixon go down the way he did. That was your bell cow. That was the guy. What?
But
Giovanni Bernard's not a scrub.
No.
Like, they could have had more of a balanced offense.
That's totally fair. Mira, you had something to say?
Yeah, I was just going to say that it really does suck that he got hurt, but I think a lot of people are trying to put a lot of blame on, the offensive line. They are a young offensive line. They are trying to build. I mean, Jason, as a Jets fan, me as a Giants fan, I mean, we know firsthand how it is you're trying to build that line. I think the injury was just a football injury. I think it could have happened to anybody at any time. If you watch the play, it was just a big it was misfortune.
Yeah, it was kind of freaky.
So it was a freak accident, and I don't think it was anything that he did, like where the offensive line blew a cover, blew an assignment, or anything like that. So to me, it's just one of those things that happened, and it sucks. But I think a lot of people are really trying to put blame on the Bengals organization, saying, well, they didn't bring in the pieces to help him out. I mean, he's had a good, we're in week 12 already, and he's had an amazing season so far. So I just think people are like jumping to conclusions, saying, oh, you know what, they really screwed the pooch here because they didn't put pieces around him to protect him. But listen, you name me, other than Dallas, Chargers, maybe a couple others, who else has a great offensive line that's going to protect you on every play?
It's true. Yeah, that's true.
Very fair. So it's almost that calculated risk of playing football in the first place. You know what I mean? Like these things, you know what you're getting into. It's unfortunate that it happened to such a bright prospect, and I think that's the thing we're all most sad about, because I think we all liked the kid. We knew he was a stud back at LSU.
Yeah.
I think we wish the best for him.
Yeah, I mean, look at
fun kid to
Dak
watch
Prescott.
the game of football.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sorry, Jay.
No, you're fine. Go ahead.
I was going to say, look at Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott has probably one of the best offensive lines in football, and he rushes for 5 yards. It was a simple tackle, and his leg just breaks. So, like I said, it's football. It sucks, but it is what it is.
Yeah, and obviously, I think everybody's going to be affected. I don't think you're going to get the same production out of Finley, which then in turn hurts like the wide receivers and the rest of that offense. And I mean, they weren't winning games really anyway, but you better hope Finley's been really hitting the books on that playbook if you want to compete in these games.
And believe it, I believe Allen is starting this weekend.
Yeah, he is.
Oh,
Finley
really?
isn't even starting. Yeah,
Wild.
so Allen is starting.
Wild.
Okay.
All right. That'll be interesting to see. I might try to catch some drives in that game then, just to see how that pans out and see how they look.
Yeah, right.
But to follow up on Cox's question, I want to get the opinions from all of you. Do you think they shut him down next year to make sure that leg's healthy? Let's go to Mario first. What do you think?
I think it's going to be up to the trainers. They're gonna see how he recovers. I know there's a lot of medicine nowadays is just ridiculous. So when Saquon Barkley hurt his leg, he's a freak of nature. So some people, it might take them a whole year. Some people might take them, half a year to recover. So I think it's going to be up to the trainers and see how he's coming along. And listen, he's young.
Mm-hmm.
He's young, and I think he's going to be fine. Actually, there was a interview with Adam Schefter, and he was explaining that it's not as bad as everybody thought it was. That he's going to be fine. So that's good.
It's huge, gigantic.
That is good.
Cox, what do you think?
I think like Mario said, it's going to depend on what the trainers say. I also think it's going to depend on if the trainers do say that he can play. I think it's going to depend on where that's at. Like if they're in a similar situation like 2-7 or whatever, and it doesn't matter if Burrow comes back or not, they're not playing for anything, then don't bring him back. But if you're sitting there, 6-6 and like, oh, Burrow can play. Well, okay, well you don't know, you might be in a playoff race, so you might want to put him in. But I mean, I highly doubt they're going to be in that situation without Burrow. So I think they're going to end up just shutting him down. Just don't even bother. And I mean, yeah, it was just a football injury. It could have happened to anyone. But I think it's going to be one of those things where until they feel better about that offensive line, they're not going to risk putting him back in there. It's going to be like a risk aversion kind of thing.
Yeah, because they got burned by it. You want to protect your investment. Now you probably go a little too hard in the opposite direction and really wait for him. And see, I don't think either one's a bad call, especially I think if it takes around the year timeline and we're at this point next year, you really got to evaluate where the Bengals are at to get a better assessment of what they're going to do. So I think that's a super fair point there, Cox. Jay, what do you think?
It's a tough one because I didn't actually consider this until I had some really good points from Coxie and Mario over there. I think it's like a 50-50 shot. I think they might do like a Tua type deal where he's on the active roster. They don't play him until they can see that he's in practice and he's slinging it and he looks okay, his knee looks fine kind of deal.
Mm-hmm.
But the other thing is like the Dolphins had a better roster. So like Cox is saying, if they were like 6-6 and his knee looks good, they're going to put him in.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't see them going like 6-6,
Right.
So yeah, I mean, I am sold on that idea. I think they could shut him down next year. Now that I think about it, because
I think it'll
the structural aspect, like just it that scares the shit out of me as a GM.
Yeah, I think another thing to look at will be in the offseason. If there's a free agent quarterback that you can sign on a 1-year deal just as a bridge while he's out.
Ooh, good point.
So if Cam Newton doesn't resign with the Patriots, and no one else is really going to sign him, again, if they stay 4 and with only 4 wins, no one's going to really sign them. So you can go out there and sign up for $2-3 million, and you can probably compete with all the pieces you have in Cam Newton. You can probably compete.
Good point.
Yeah, I think that's smart. I think it could go either way. I really like the aspect, like you talked about, get a stopgap guy in there. The other one I'm thinking of is Tyrod Taylor. He's not going to stick around in Chargerville after what Herbert's doing. Get a guy like that, T-Mobile, Cam Newton, one of those guys with those weapons. T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd are animals. AJ is becoming an elder statesman that can still get you some production. Joe Mixon
almost like a Larry Fitz.
Yeah. Joe Mixon comes back and he's anything decent. You got a pretty high-powered offense there if you can get some guy that you think can not lose you games back there, that has experience in games and can do some pretty big things. I think maybe you do get into that situation where then it's, do we save him for the year, or do we unleash him and make this playoff push with our franchise guy? But
yeah,
that aside, I think it's so much smarter long term.
They need to beef up that O-line.
Yeah. And this is a deep upcoming draft. The 2021 draft is a deep draft for offensive linemen. There's some really big tackle studs out there. I know Oregon, Alabama.
Yeah,
they have some really amazing big boys coming out. So I mean, that should be priority number one for not just the Bengals, but a lot of teams.
A lot of teams do need to beef up their O-line. I think that's totally fair. But because, again, he's so young and this is your investment, I could see them almost regardless, unless they're at like 7, 8, 9 win territory. Any less than that, I think they're like, let's get you back like fully to where you need to be. Because, again, he's young. He's not the youngest QB in the league. That's Sam Darnold, still crazily enough. But he's got plenty of years ahead of him. And you don't want to squander that. So I really think that's the right move. Really, I think we made a lot of good points about the different scenarios that could happen that I found really interesting. But again, time will tell. I think we made a lot of good thoughts on it. Anything you guys want to say to put a bow on this Burrow talk?
I'm not sad that we're not facing him this weekend.
That's fair. That is so fair.
That's true. Yeah.
That'll be very interesting. I gotta catch some snaps of that game to see what goes on. The other big thing about this week, there's a lot of things we could talk about. Washington spanking the Cowboys is a huge deal. There's a lot of crazy things that happened this week, but the big thing I want to talk about, because of my good buddy, is that the Buccaneers still cannot get it done in prime time.
Yeah.
Run us through this, Cox. What's going on with your boys? They were practicing at prime time. It was gonna make them better. That's all I heard last week.
I mean, it was closer, so it wasn't like 30 something to 3. So that was fine. The offense is just still so disjointed. There's no continuity with it at all. Every drive is a struggle and grinding my teeth. Just what is the philosophy here? And it's such a clash between the two of them, between Arians and Brady, of what to do. Brady doesn't want to throw the ball deep like that as many times as Arians wants him to. Arians just wants to keep going deep. And I get off of play action pass, you can do that, but you can also do little, just 5-yard throws, play action pass, like. Get underneath the coverage. You don't have to be throwing on a deep safety that's going to cover when you've also got the cornerback still right on your back. Don't make that throw to, in a 2-minute offense. What do you do? Like, you have time. Just get your ball to the outside, get out of bounds, and go. You had timeouts. You had like 1 minute and 30 on the clock. You had time. I don't know. And when it's coming down to crunch time, I think Brady doesn't. He's caught in between. Do I stick with what Arians is telling me to do, or do I do what I know can work? And he's kind of stuck in that. And it's just disjointed, and they can't seem to figure it out. And the defense is still playing well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look at the rush defense. Even without Vita Vea, they're doing fantastic on the defense. They can limit you to only, being a one-dimensional football team. They can do that. But when the offense just can't get it going, it doesn't matter how good your defense is. They're going to be on the field way too much.
Mm-hmm.
It's just frustrating.
Yeah.
And I don't see it getting any better against KC. I don't think it's so much a primetime problem as it just is a big game problem. Just big games
you
overall, they can't do.
You haven't been able to win the big ones.
They're pretty much the Cleveland Browns right now.
Yeah.
They win games that they're supposed to win. That's it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's actually a good way to put it. It's been very symptomatic, and that was, you guys recall me talking all off season when they signed him. I go, because I know Arians super well as a Cards fan. He was my boy. I kept saying Brady, he can't do the Arians style. It's not his game. I go, I've been saying that for a while. I didn't know how it would mesh. I know a lot of people had a lot more confidence, but what is happening now is what I expected to happen. They're too diametrically opposed. And unless they get into a rhythm or they build a big lead or the defense bails them out, they lose these games against the teams that give everybody trouble. These prime teams, and it's really hurting any likelihood of them making any sort of run. And it's you didn't fix the problem as well as you thought you would by getting rid of Jameis. It's showing that neither of those QBs were exactly the right fit. I think you need like a Matt Stafford in that for that to work. Yeah. Somebody with a fucking cannon who can get that ball to Evans, have him go get it. You need that guy with the big arm, and Jameis had a big arm, but he didn't have as good decision making as a Stafford. Brady can make the decisions, but he's never been that bomb it 15 times down the field kind of guy.
Yeah, maybe 10 years ago when he had Moss, but that was it.
Yeah. I was going to say that he used to be.
That was going to be my point.
It's like Brady. Brady needs to really like reinvent himself. Brady's not that guy anymore, and he still thinks he is. I think one of the reasons why he wanted to leave New England was Belichick wants that guy. Brady was a dink and dunk guy at latter stages in New England. It was 10-yard, 5-yard, 7-yard, and now he's not that guy anymore. So he really needs to like reinvent himself, kind of like how as a Yankees fan, CC Sabathia had to, he was a power pitcher and learn how to throw the curve and the off speed. So and then there's also Arians. He's very critical. Brady, Belichick used to criticize Brady, but he would do it behind closed doors. So he would say, hey, you know what, Tom, you need to do this and that, but Brady's not used to a coach airing out the dirty laundry, so to speak, on out in the public, and then there's a lot of things going on. Antonio Brown, is he a distraction? Since he's been on the team, how have they done? They haven't done well with him.
It's a fair point.
They have not done well with him. Yeah. He's a great player. Listen, probably top 3 right now. But he's, who knows what's going on behind the scenes,
100%. I think that's a huge thing. What we've learned is Brady doesn't take negativity well, specifically losses. I watched the compilation the other day of all of the losses where he refused to shake the other QB's hand, including last week.
That was going to be my first point. Was I hate that. I hate that. Like he refused to shake Goff's hand at the end of the game. Like, man up, dude. Be like, are you kidding me? Like you lost the game. It's fine. Like get over it. Shake the man's hand. I just that infuriates me. I don't know why. That might be like a weird thing, but it really does
it's really
make me angry.
It's really annoying
because it's annoying, right?
Mm-hmm. And
the man's 150. Yeah. Who are you trying to prove it?
I mean, I don't really. I don't care. I'm just more upset that we lost the game.
Well, of course.
I don't care if you shake hands or not. Just win the damn game.
But where I was going with that is that it shows any sort of negativity or criticism or thing like that, he's proven to not take it well. So, I wonder how much more of a wedge that's bringing between the two of them. And, when does it come to a head?
Well, so something that I love listening to Sports Talk Radio here in New England. Some of the things are ridiculous. But for weeks now, there have been people saying that Brady is trying to get Arians fired. That Brady wants Brady wants him gone.
It's not going to happen.
No, it's like who do you go to at that point? Are we gonna you're gonna have Brian Leftwich be the head coach? Like, who are you gonna get? I mean, unless you're gonna go out unless you're gonna do that, then you have to keep Arians as your coach.
But
So then what? So then it's what do you? So then it's what do you do?
yeah.
Like in the off season, how do you bring this together? Because there's one more year on the deal. If he wants, I think there's an opt out.
Is it a player option?
I think it's a player option. So I think if he opts in for one more year, which is what we want him to do, I think that's another thing is that we're trying to keep, like the organization is trying to keep Brady happy with, let's get Antonio Brown and let's bend over backwards for Tom. But if we keep him for one more year, how do we bring this together better? Something's got to be done to bring it together.
Well, you lose Godwin in the offseason, barring a major spending of the bag.
Yeah.
You don't have the cap.
Not at all.
No.
If Brady was in his 30s, let's say 38. Okay, I can see maybe him forcing Arians out. It's not going to happen. It's just not. He's an aging quarterback, and this is two franchises now that he's shown his age. He can't throw the deep ball. He can't throw the deep ball, and he can't take criticism right now. And if that offensive line is not protecting him and they're getting pressure on him, everybody knows that's Tom Brady's kryptonite.
Yeah, and they're getting hurt now.
Tom Brady does not deal with it.
Your team proved that twice.
I think we showed them the roadmap.
Yeah.
They showed the Eagles. We showed the Eagles and all the other teams that have actually had success. That's the roadmap. You get to Tom Brady, and he starts getting a little upset because he's not a mobile quarterback.
Yeah, I think that whole thing is quickly becoming a mess. But the other thing I want to mention about the Bucs is the scary career-threatening injury to A.Q. Shipley. I love that guy. I think he's a great O-lineman. I think that's a huge blow for you guys because you guys have already been pretty dinged up there. And I think that's also going to be a big thing now that you're getting into the stretch run here. Like, a lot of question marks there. What do you...
Yeah, if Marpet can't come back, then we're screwed.
Yeah.
If Marpet needs to come back. And I still don't like the fact that Jensen's going to have to play center. I don't, because I'm not a huge Jensen fan, but...
Okay. At best.
Yeah, he just if he has a good game snapping the ball, but he has a good game with penalties. And he has a good game with penalties, then he sucks at snapping the ball. There's never enough consistency with him. He blows assignments at weird times. It's just not great. So I don't know unless we get Marpet back 100%. I don't know. We haven't been too terrible. Like the O-line's been holding together, but again with no Marpet and no Shipley, Kansas City's going to have a field day.
A tough total flaw. Like JT said, Shipley, as the resident offensive line guru, that's kind of my jam. I love offensive line. That's a big fucking loss. Something to hang your hat on though is that the kid that you drafted has been playing.
Tristan Wirfs,
the kid from Iowa. He's been playing so well.
Yeah, he has.
So future's bright.
Yeah, big way to put a little cap on this. I want to hear from everybody, starting with Cox. How do they end the season? What's the record? What happens if they make the playoffs? Where do you see this ending?
Okay, well, so right now they're sitting what, 7-4. So we got the Chiefs. Then we've got bye week, and then it's Vikings, Falcons, Lions, Falcons. So, spoiler for my pick. The Bucs are going to lose to the Chiefs. So, and then come out of the bye, you've got to fix the offense during that bye. Something. I'm searching for anything at this continuity. 3 or 4 drives where I go, okay, I see what they're doing. I could feel confident that we can do that the rest of the or just going forward. And you can beat the Vikings, the Falcons twice, and the Lions. If you do that, you'll go 11-5. That's fine. That gets you in the playoffs. But looking at the playoff picture, maybe around one. If they can get the seed and play the NFC East division winner, great. But if you have to go to Green Bay, or if you have to go to, the NFC West division winner, I'm not feeling fantastic at all. Like, that sounds awful. So I don't know. I said I was saying at the beginning of the year, I love it and make the playoffs, but it's gonna really suck if we get to the first round and just lose.
Mm-hmm.
That's gonna suck. That's not what we
100%.
wanted. So
Yeah.
I'll go just real fast. You guys get fucking eaten by one of the NFC West teams. That's where your season ends.
mhm.
One of us. I don't know who it's going to be because it's a complete toss up. Somebody fucking eats you guys.
Well, let me throw my 2 cents in here. I know you were saying if you play one of the NFC East teams, I'll tell you right now, if it's us, we should have beat you when we played you. So,
Ooh, let's go.
We're getting better, and we're getting healthier, and we own Tom Brady. So I would say if you're going to play Dallas or somebody else, then maybe. But don't be so happy there, Coxie.
It'll be the Washington. We'll be going to Washington.
You better hope so. But I doubt it. We beat them twice, so we have the tiebreaker. So bring it on.
That is actually very spicy.
That's
I
true.
like that. Jay,
He's not wrong.
Put a
He's
fork
not
in this, Jay. What do you think?
They're gonna go 10-6 and lose the wild card. Who they lose to, I don't know, but they're gonna go 10-6 and lose the wild card in the Bucks.
Gotcha.
Oh, and real quick, I think you guys have a good chance against the Chiefs. Believe it or not, I think that Arians really doesn't lose like 3 games. Like, he doesn't have streaks like that. I think he'll put a game plan together. I think you have a good chance against them. I do.
Yeah,
Nice.
I'd like that.
So moving on from that, one major thing is the Ravens COVID outbreak. The biggest of which victims of that is Lamar Jackson. They've moved the game around a lot. It was supposed to be Thursday. It was supposed to be a great Thursday night game. They then tried to push it back to Sunday, which they didn't work because there was more cases still positive. They then moved it to Tuesday for about 20, 30 minutes before settling on Monday, I believe.
Oh, wow.
Is where
Tuesday.
I think the game. Oh, it's still back to Tuesday?
It's Tuesday,
I
tentatively.
think it's Tuesday. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, tentatively.
I saw Tuesday, yeah.
Okay, well then that's what it is. I don't know. I want to bring it out because this is another prominent example of COVID getting in the way of everything. A major outbreak by a team. One of the first ones we've seen in a good bit of time here. So how does this affect the league going forward? Because all it takes is this like cell of people to get contracted it. I think one of the speculations was that Lamar got it during the game, which would have been the first time that had happened in a sporting event this year. I don't think that's what happened. His lockers were close to a lot of the other guys who were already exposed. But moving that game, this is another one where the Steelers are getting pulled around all over the place, just like what happened before. And so I'm not envious of the Steelers at all, as well, for getting all this stuff moved around. But we have to talk about it again. I hate talking about stuff like this and having it take up airtime, but like, what is this going to mean for the league or for the season? Do we see anything changing or happening with this? Mary, I'll let you lead off.
To me, it's just crazy. I think they're supposed to be in a bubble. Okay, I mean, I know that everybody's in their own state, but I think it comes down to these players. They're not disciplined enough. They're out there doing something. Obviously, it's coming in from somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody's not being careful. Whether it's a coach or a position coach or somebody in security. These guys are getting COVID somehow, and it's whether it's a player who's not being careful and going out after a game and celebrating. I mean, look what's going on right now. I mean, people are getting happy. Everyone thought everything was lulling down, so everybody let their guard down, and then all of a sudden it's spiking up again. So to me, I think it's going to affect everything. I mean, look what's up. Lamar Jackson, they're trying to push this game out because they want the stars playing. They want Lamar Jackson playing. They want all that. Exactly. I mean, for me personally, the Giants, Graham Gano, they signed him. And then the day after they signed him to a 4-year extension, he's got COVID. So it's just crazy. I mean, it's affecting everybody. I think the NFL really needs to crack down more and say, hey, listen, there needs to be a curfew, a mandate where the teams need to stay within a certain radius and they don't go anywhere. And if they do, then if not, it's gonna be a shit show. And I'm telling you
100%.
right now, playoff time comes. You're gonna see. Oh, do you want to have a playoff game where the Cardinals are playing and Kyler Murray is not playing? Come on.
I would be fucking furious.
We don't want to see that. We don't want to see it, right? We don't want to see that shit.
No. I wholeheartedly agree, and I remember some of the owners were up in arms when they took draft picks away from the Raiders for their violations, but I've been a proponent this whole time of do more of that shit. There has to be consequences to these things because it's negatively affecting the league as a whole. Moving all these games, doing all these different things, it like you said, it's somebody's not doing the right thing, and it's almost an aspect of selfishness. These people, they don't care, they're worried about themselves. What was that?
What it really comes down to, you're reinforcing that bad behavior.
Yeah, by not inaction is reinforcing the negative behavior, and I think there has to be stakes.
If I go out and do this, nothing's actually going to happen. They're going to move the game.
Well, there's that, yes, A, but B, if you get in these situations now, let's say come playoff time, there's some sort of problem with COVID, and let's say, again, for argument's sake, oh God, who's a good one? New Orleans, the Saints, they're the 1 seed right now, right? Should have a bye, should have home field. If an outbreak happens in New Orleans, to make that game happen, they will move that either to a neutral territory or flip the home field. Like, stuff like that is going to happen if you don't make these things happen. Like, and then look at, you screwed your whole team. You relinquished the home field because you were too selfish or whatever. So there needs to be additional stakes to these things. And I think draft picks are a great start. When it comes to playoff time, flip the home field. You fucked up. Now you don't get the advantage. Like,
absolutely.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different ways to do it. What do you think?
Absolutely.
What is the follow-up, Cox and Yaz? I haven't heard from y'all. What do you think?
Well,
That's good.
It's everything you said. Like, you got to crack down more on this. I mean, the Ravens on Wednesday, they really think that all this came down to I think it was a strength and conditioning coach tested positive last week. I think it was on like Thursday of last week, the 19th, that he tested positive, and they had to isolate the close contacts and everything. But he didn't follow proper protocols. What they found out, and they've disciplined him internally. But the question then becomes the NFL, okay, yeah, you disciplined him internally, but is there further action against the organization for, allowing that to happen or not having the proper, protocols in place to catch that kind of thing? Like, why was he allowed to not follow the protocol? Why was that even something that happened?
That's I hate when they go, we've disciplined him internally. It's the worst. What it is it's me punching my little brother in the back of the head and then working on it with him so he doesn't go fucking tell mom. We've disciplined internally, so that we don't go and get in big trouble from the bigwigs because we've done our own internal investigation. Fuck that.
Right.
And meanwhile, the damage has been done already,
exactly.
Right.
And it's affecting the entire league. Like, if it's something like this, which is a global pandemic, it's at minimum a league-wide issue. It's not team-wide, it's league-wide. Like, you can't, don't worry, we dealt with it, it's okay now. We gave him a little slappy on the wrist and he couldn't come to practice for 4 days or whatever. No, fuck you. This is people's lives.
I wonder what would have happened. So they've moved the Ravens to Tuesday for the time being. That also means that they had to move the Ravens Cowboys game that was set to play on next Thursday. They've had to move that to Monday, the following Monday. What if it wasn't the Cowboys? What if it was another playoff contender? What if it was the Colts? And now you're screwing around with the Colts. I get screwing around with the Cowboys because it's the Cowboys. Who cares? But like, what if it was a legit playoff team?
Yeah, definitely.
Like, would they have done the
And
same
the
thing?
Colts, I just saw today that the Colts are affected too.
Mhm.
Buckner, one of their best defensive linemen,
Yep.
is COVID out. And listen, the last thing the NFL wants is for their stars to be out with COVID. It's
Mhm.
like the NBA when they were sitting like, oh well, LeBron's not playing. People don't want to see a game where the stars aren't
Mhm.
playing. You don't want to see it.
Mhm.
I don't want to see a Bucks game where the backup's playing and Tom Brady's on the bench.
Mhm.
I don't want to, I'm sorry, Jay. You know
Just
what I mean.
generally don't want to see the Jets.
Yeah, I just don't want to watch them.
No, I'm just kidding. They like look, we got to watch Joe Flacco. They want to see Sam Darnold play. We want to see.
Yeah.
We want to see stars out there.
That's a fair point.
You know what I mean.
I know what you mean. That's fair.
I was just busting your chops.
Yeah.
I know. I get my balls chopped a little bit on this
A lot.
podcast.
A lot. I try to come to your aid sometimes. I don't know, man.
I don't.
Oh,
No.
I hate
like,
talking about them.
I'm gonna get in my little soapbox for a second here.
Sure.
You signed the opt-in as an NFL player. You signed the opt-in to
Mhm.
play the season.
Yeah.
You fucking follow the rules.
Yeah.
We have, and the cases are getting worse and worse throughout the country, and they're getting worse and worse in the NFL. So, in my opinion, if you have too many players that got COVID, you should have to just say, all right, we forfeit. That's what should happen. You should
Mhm.
forfeit. There's two options here: forfeit or extend the season. That's it.
Yeah.
My opinion.
Yeah, and I hate to say this, but nothing is going to really change. And I hate to say it, but God forbid a player that we all know or whatever, God forbid, gets sick, gets put on a ventilator, and then it's going to be like, oh my God,
Mhm.
what did we do? Why didn't we do this
Yeah.
or do that? And
Yeah.
like I said, I hate,
Very well.
I don't even want to bring it
It's
out
not
into
out of the
existence
realm
by
of
speaking about it, but that's what's going to happen.
Yeah. 100%. It could very well happen. That's the other theory I have is you get these playoff races all done and dusted, is install some bubbles. Like really
Absolutely.
eliminate risk. We're so close to the end of the season, a season we didn't think was ever going to get this far. Let's make sure it finishes.
Yeah.
Do everything in your power to make sure that we get there. At this point, I think there's so many things we can do, and I'm glad we're all in agreement that like more should be done.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping
It has to.
I'm hoping that
They like the thing about the NFL. They like to like get up and pretend like they are so all about all these social issues and all these other issues. Then they just like let these games happen. Whereas they could easily just say, "Look, your team fucked up. You lose. Period." Because when it comes down to, is the money.
yeah, like what happens if this an outbreak happens on like the Saints during the playoffs? You have to play that Saturday or Sunday. We can't move this. Everybody else is
Yeah.
already advanced. Like
Yep.
I think you have like there has to be stakes to it.
Yeah.
Well, you have a practice squad for a reason. So
And that's all the
You have
other
to
thing I'm
sign
saying.
'em up.
Yeah.
And if you're John Gruden right now, I'm furious
Mhm.
because when it came down to it, and we were in the Raiders had the
Mhm.
Buccaneers, the NFL basically gave them the middle finger. Your entire O line's out with COVID. Oh, too
absolutely.
freaking bad.
Mhm.
Play them.
Yeah.
And, like the Raiders are a good team.
Mhm.
The Raiders could have had one extra win potentially if they moved
Mhm.
the game. Who the hell knows?
Yep.
So yeah, the inequality is the other weird aspect that I haven't really loved about all this is like
Yeah.
Inconsistency across the league.
mhm.
Annoying.
Sucks.
They know the Steelers-Ravens game is a big money maker,
Mhm.
so they moved it instead of, oh, look at that. Owen's a fucking jig.
Yeah, love that.
And we-
I'm glad.
Bring me a beer.
I'm glad we're all in agreement here. I think it's very highly important that they start moving in that direction, or else you're gonna lose the season at the most important juncture. It's how it's gonna go.
Mhm.
Any parting points on this before we move on to the last little this week thing, and then we'll get into picks. Lovely
I
stuff.
think we hit it.
Football.
Final thing I want to talk about that is a very interesting aspect is Mitchell Trubisky has been named the starting QB for the Bears this week.
Who lost the bet?
Who lost a bet? Did we bet on that? If he was going to get, we should have.
Ugh.
Somebody in Chicago lost a bet.
Yeah.
So, it sure did.
Somebody from Chicago lost the bet.
That's it's for me. It's an interesting call, especially considering they're playing Green Bay this week. It's a big transition, a big switch. I much prefer Nick Foles personally, just from a personal aspect. I think he's a better QB top to bottom. They really love him over there. I think maybe it's because they spent that high pick on him. I don't know. They're really trying to make Mitch work. And I just want to know your thoughts, how you think this changes things for the Bears, if it does it in a positive or negative way. Where do you guys see this going, and if it keeps up for the rest of the season? Jay, I don't think I've led with you yet, so I'll let you go first.
Yeah, no, this is interesting a little bit because, like you said, Foles is the better quarterback. We all know that. I think they're trying to save their jobs over there in Chicago. I think that's what it really is.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to work out because Mitch traded up to the second pick to get Mitch. So it's already like in the back of their head. Like, we need to make this work. We need to make this work. We traded up
Oh my
to get
god.
Mitch Trubisky. So I think this is their like Hail Mary here. I really think this is their Hail Mary. Just like, we need, like, somehow a miracle happens and he throws for like 300 yards, 4 touchdowns, and fucking just kills it at the end of the season. Then we'll keep our jobs. If he fails, if Nick Foles was in the game and he fails, which he probably would, it looks better if Mitch does it.
That's so fair.
I think it's a calculated risk. I think that's really what it comes down to.
100%. Cox?
But they're both so bad. They're just so bad.
Thank you,
Like,
Cox.
if you're
Thank you.
if you're in Chicago, you're like, what do we do? Like, what do we do? I do agree that like Foles is better, I guess, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, Foles has a 65% completion percentage to Trubisky's 59.3. Foles has played twice as many games, so it played in as twice as many. I mean, he's got 311 attempts. Trubisky's got 86. So I guess you haven't really seen a lot of Trubisky this year, but it hasn't been good in those 86 attempts. He's got 6 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. Not great. And sacked 7 times. Not great. 162.5 yards per. That sucks. They suck either way. They're 5-5, and they're lucky to be.
They
Like,
sure
they-
are.
They should be 4-6. The Bucs should have beat them.
Was I right or was I wrong? Our first
No,
podcast.
you were right. You were right. I thought Foles could have been something a bit better. Their offense sucks. It just sucks. And clearly, having a different person play call the plays didn't do shit. Who cares? You suck. We said that last week. It wasn't gonna matter. Like, you suck.
Mario, what you got for me?
Cox took the words out of my mouth. I mean, they're both terrible. I mean, Foles is he's a quarterback that, he's a system quarterback. He just fit the system for what Philadelphia did. Philadelphia had a stacked offense. They had a stacked offensive line. So you put a guy back there who can actually run a system, and now all of a sudden, people are trying to give him like all these accolades. I never thought he was that great. He's a tough kid. As a person, he's a great guy. But listen, I think Trubisky probably has more upside than him. I mean, he can run. I mean, he can, I just don't think that they actually gave him, it's kind of like Sam Darnold with the Jets, but he's not as talented as Sam.
Mm-hmm.
They
I was
ruined
gonna say
him.
Sam Darnold's way
They
more
ruined
talented than Trubisky.
They ruined him. Like I
Mm-hmm.
said, they ruined him. They brought him in. They didn't give him the tools. They didn't give him the offensive line. Now the offense is a little bit better, but it's a little bit, a little too late.
Yeah. Fair. I think that's fair. I'm going to base my whole argument here on the eye test. One person I've observed outdueling Tom Brady in the Super Bowl to a win. And the other one has had moments where I don't believe they've ever played a game of football in their life. And I get legitimately concerned when I see him on the field sometimes. I think right now, I clearly think Foles is the better option. Do I think he's better long term? Unlikely. He's on a decline. But Mitchell Trubisky is not the answer, and I think Cox nailed it when he said it's the organization trying to save face. It's the GM trying to show that this guy we drafted can give you literally anything.
I wasn't going to say anything.
Yeah,
I was just going to
Jay.
take the credit for that.
That was Jay.
Sorry.
That was me. That was right.
All right. Jason said it, guys. Jason said it. I'm going to reiterate that Jason said it because he won't shut the fuck up unless I say that he said it.
I didn't write it.
Jay's expecting a fruit basket.
Yeah,
by tomorrow.
unbelievable. But I think he's completely right. I think this is the GM being like, all right, I have to double down on my move here or else.
It was a terrible move at the time. It's still a terrible move today.
But I guess it's better to double down on it if you are trying to save your jobs, like you said, than otherwise. But let's not forget the whole reason that the Bears had this come up that we were talking about before anyway was because they put Nick Foles in. He started the whole thing.
Yeah.
And so now that he lost an overtime game to a really good Saints team, and on the bye, they're just like, let's go, Mitch. It's your turn now. Like, that doesn't do anything for anybody. It's
No.
But Foles was really uninspiring in that game.
no.
I mean, it was just an ugly game. He was really uninspiring. It was a combination of shitty defense by the Saints and just you know what I mean.
That defense is gorilla gluing that organization together right now. They should be spending all their money on Khalil Mack. And Roquan Smith is a DPOY
I was just saying
candidate.
Roquan,
We talked about it.
Yeah.
Really fucking good, like really fucking good.
He's really good. It's like, and then you have Mitchell Trubisky up there looking like he's never seen a football in his life. Like,
what is this oblong thing?
This is weird, dude.
This is so weird. This isn't a baseball.
Supposed to toss
I want to watch a lot of this Packers-Bears game. Just because I know Mitchell Trubisky's going to give me another gem. To just
Do you think he makes it the whole game? Because I don't.
I don't either.
I don't.
I think
put Foles in at halftime.
Yeah, I think Green Bay goes up by like 3 scores, and they're like,
Probably.
Nick Foles.
Like,
and knowing that, Nick Foles gets them to within like 3 points, and they blow it.
Yeah. It's just so bad.
It's the 2011 Jets.
It's rough.
It's the 2011 Jets.
Did you know what the sad thing is? Is that we're talking about them like this, but they're still the 8th seed in the NFC right now.
Sure are.
They're only 1 game behind the Cardinals.
We're gonna
what the hell?
We're gonna get to that when we get to our playoff picture, and I think anybody else have anything to say about the Bears? Please say no.
No.
I think we good.
Let's move on to predictions and takes for this week. As a general update to those involved, I increased my lead by 1 game in the overall predictions. Sitting in 3rd place is Ryan Cox at a record of 55-36. Ryan had a 7-6 record last week, so not too bad. Over 500. Jay is sitting at 60-32. Jay also had a 7-6 week last week. And myself am 2 games up on Jay at 62-30. So while it's Ryan's slowly kind of inching his way back in, it's still kind of a 2-horse race. I get myself a little breathing room.
Really a jam.
I'm here.
So can you add me? Can you add me? I'm 90. I'm 92-0.
I've gotten every game right this season. I love that.
He wasn't here, so it's not like we can't contest.
No, we can't. We have no way to oppose it.
You proved me wrong.
What really got me over the hump this week was the Rams pick last week. That was the one. That's the one
That
who
was
got
a
me the
good-
game.
Good
So
pick.
that was a hell of a pick.
Good
So
pick.
we're gonna start with our individual teams like we always do, and I'm gonna start because not only do I have the cards, but it's cards versus Pats, baby. So you got to lead with that.
That's true.
Oh yeah. Dude.
It's going to be very interesting because what I think this comes down to is coaching. We win and check every box on the talent scale. We're more talented. We're more athletic. We have a better quarterback. We're better at each probably feasible position except maybe DBs. And even that, it's kind of a wash. But what it also comes down to is, like I've talked about, we're the most penalized team in the league. We need to really rein it in our discipline wise. And Bill Belichick has the exact opposite problem. And we've seen in the past Bill win games he should lose against more talented teams, even this season. So while I'm really hoping this isn't a trap game. But what I see is a not very high-powered offense on New England with a not very good defense versus a supremely talented offense and a middling to upper middle secondary, depending on how they show up that week. So head-to-head, body on body, I think we win the game, and it might be one of those classic wins we had this year where we just win based on talent. But I could also 1,000,000% see us having a J.R. Sweezy moment and blowing a close game because Cliff Kingsbury hasn't figured out how to get these guys disciplined yet. That being said, I'm going to be the optimist about this, and I'm going to say it's going to be a 31-28 Cardinals victory, and that's where I'm landing. Jay, you can go next.
Have you watched this Pats team?
I sure have.
Not good. They're terrible. Fucking terrible. They had a few fluke wins. They beat a Ravens team that you and me discussed this last night, Dave. They're not as good as people
They're
think
not
they
for
are.
real
The
at
Ravens
all.
just aren't.
They're not for real.
Not for real in any way, shape, or form. I think this is a double-digit Cards win. I really do.
I
think
so.
Kyler just fucking goes off. I'm gonna go 30-17.
Ooh, I like it.
Mario, are you also? Do you think it's gonna be a blow?
I'm gonna go 24-10 Cardinals.
Okay.
24-10. I think Belichick, even though his team is shit, he will have his team ready. It seems to be their MO, the way they play. They're usually like kind of in it, and then by the end of the game, it's Cam Newton will throw a stupid pick or something to that effect. I just think that the Cardinals are definitely going to win this game.
Yeah, I think it's just like what DT said, where it's Cardinals defense, which isn't great, but it's against a not great offense. And then you flip it, it's a decent defense versus a pretty good offense. However, how healthy is Kyler Murray going into this game? Because there is talk, and I think they are doing this. I think they're bringing, and I think that tells you something. I think that tells you something about Kyler, because I'm pretty sure it was his shoulder. DT, you can correct me, his shoulder that they were worried about.
Yep.
If he is limited in any capacity, a big part of his game is the running. If they don't want him tucking and running because they're worried that someone's going to hit him, that's a huge part of their offense. That's a huge part of their offense because they'll give you the same look, and you'll see someone cut across, and then there's three different options. Is he going to hand it off to the receiver? Is he going to hand it off to the running back? Or is he going to tuck it and run it himself? Or who the hell knows? But if Kyler Murray's and it gives New England and Bill Belichick less to worry about, that's when you have a problem. That's how it's going to stay close. And New England can run the ball. I think they're getting Sony Michel back. They can run the ball. I don't know why they didn't do that last. They could have kept it a lot closer with if they kept running the ball. Houston's and Damian Harris is, by all accounts, not terrible. You can run the ball with him. Run it with Sony. Run it with Harris. keep Kyler Murray off the field, and if he's limited, but I think it is a matter of the Cardinals are just way too talented. There's just more talent on that team. But I do think it stays close. So I'm going to give it to the Cardinals, but it's going to be like 24-19.
I'll take that. I don't know if you guys saw, I just tried for about 6 minutes to get this bottle open, and I did not succeed. You need to teach me how the bottle...
You owe the shot take now.
Yeah, I was about to get to that.
Listen, give Owen about 9 hours. He'll be over there in 9 hours to open that up for you.
Yeah, I need Owen to show up. You need to teach me how the bottle opener on this fridge works, Jay, because apparently I can't get it.
Just whack it against your desk.
Literally, bottle openers on your tuxedo cap.
I need him to be dangling
a bottle
around.
Opener.
But
like a bottle opener with collar and just
that'd be awesome. As per the rules, I'm doing my shot take, so 2 shots, because while the Rams did win, they did not hold the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to 14 points or less. So I will gladly take my 2 shots, but as I prepare and I shoot these,
how is this a punishment?
Because you get hammered, and then you make the rest of your prediction picks, and you lose.
That's why I write all mine down.
Okay, I get it. I'm new.
You know,
I'm new here, so.
That's why I take notes.
I see that. Hey, look. I'm starting chill. I'm new here, so I see DT say, well, I gotta drink Whistle Pig. Oh, I'm so sorry.
It's such a tough. I'm having a tough time. Really, thank you,
man.
Thank you for your condolences during this trying time.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna pass it to Jay to cover Jets Dolphins as I run these back. But here's to you guys.
I do my shot
Salud, brother.
this shit show of a fucking game. So Jets Dolphins, yeah. Dolphins, surprisingly good. Defense looks good. I hear Tua might not play though. So
I don't know.
It's possible.
I mean, I thought he was still going to start. Yeah.
I did it.
Questionable.
Wow.
My man.
I know the Jets have nothing. They have nothing.
They don't.
But this is the first time Sam Darnold's going to get a start with Mims, Crowder, and Perriman all starting.
Second shot.
This is a game I think they could win easily. I think they could do it and ruin the tank, because that would be the most Jets thing of all time. Ruin the tank and win a couple of these games here. That being said, I think Sam falls probably like 23-20. I'm gonna go Dolphins.
Gotcha. Coxie, what do you got?
Yeah, I mean, it'll be closer, but it'll depend on his quarterback. But Jets, they still suck. They're still the Jets. They're gonna fight. Even if they're close, it doesn't matter. Even if it's close, it doesn't matter. They're gonna find a way to blow it and lose, and everyone will be like, "Oh, they were so close." No, they suck. Who cares? Like 24-20 Miami. Like there are better games.
Mario.
I think this is a tough one. Well, it's not tough because I know the Jets will lose, but I'm just saying it's a tough one because I mean,
what I'm hoping for.
The Jets are doing Sam Darnold like a disservice.
Mm-hmm.
He's still not 100% healthy. What are you trying to prove by marching him out there? Truthfully, if you really want to be in tank mode, if you want to do him a service and you still want to complete the tank, you put Flacco out there. You let Sam sit on the side. You already know what he has. You know what Sam is. You know you're tanking for Trevor. I mean, really, what are you trying to get out there? You're trying to put him out there and hopefully win a game and take you out of the Trevor sweepstakes for what? You're trying to trade Sam Darnold anyway for picks. Everyone knows what he is. I just think it's ridiculous. It just goes to prove how inept that whole front office is.
Oh no!
Horrible.
Like Joe
top to bottom.
Fuck he's doing.
Your only saving grace. Yeah, your only saving grace is Douglas. I still think you give him a chance. I think he is a good talent evaluator. He was with Philly. He does know talent. I say it's going to be 21-10 Dolphins.
I see that.
Yeah, that's actually a really great score. I'm happy Sam's back just because I like seeing good young talent play football.
Here's the thing. It's tough. Like, I want him to lose, but I also like seeing Sam flourish.
Yeah.
Of course.
I think
Sam Darnold's a good guy.
Yeah, I think, to be honest, I agree with a lot of the takes and points you're making, Mario, but I think what they're doing here is giving Sam Darnold a showcase to the league for trade offers. This is the guy you can get if you're a Washington, if you're a whatever. Like, if he throws some dots in this game, on the Bucks, he throws some dots in this game.
Yep.
He plays
Absolutely.
well. He plays well. That's what they're doing because, like I said, he's basically lost equity for them at this point.
Yeah, but you know what? Joe Douglas promised Sam Darnold's parents. He said, "I have Sam's best interest at heart," and I think they've done him nothing but a disservice.
Yeah, 100%.
They put him in. He's been hurt. They put him out there. I mean, really, what is to prove right now? You're going to put him out there, and what if he gets hurt even more? I mean, it's just it to me, it's silly. People are going to want him. Look at Cox is over there putting his jersey out. They would love to have him over there, sit behind Brady for another year.
Yeah,
You're kidding me.
100%.
He would, and I think he's going to be a great quarterback. But the Jets ruined him. They ruined him.
I think, yeah, that I agree, and I'm not saying it's the right choice, but I think their mindset going into this is that's what they're doing, is they want to showcase his talent. They want to show what he can do, especially since his weird shoulder injury was throwing shoulder, I believe. They want to show that he's still got some zip, he's still got something. Just again, it's that dangling the carrot. I think it's a tough draw for Sam going up against this Dolphins D that's really he's gone.
Oh, he dropped
lost him. So now you're
We
Mario
didn't mean to hurt his
Coxey.
feelings.
Yeah,
We
no.
didn't mean to hurt his feelings.
No, I don't think it's that he'll be back. My major thing is that I think this is a bad draw for Sam to come back on, and even if he looks kind of good, I don't think they win this game, and I think he probably has a couple of tough interceptions against this really good defense. I think
If that's a sorry,
Go ahead, Cox.
I was just gonna say if you think it's a
I missed all of that.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
you went
If
out,
if
but
if you
I-
think
Okay.
oh, if you think this showcase after they just move go to Flacco,
After this
Listen,
game,
I
maybe.
think,
yeah,
maybe. I agree everything that you said, DT. I agree 100% that they want him to perform so they can put showcase him. But at this point, people know what Sam Darnold is. They
Yeah.
know what he is. Like teams like Tampa Bay. There's other teams out there that are going to be lining up to say, "Hey, I'll take him." There's a bunch of teams out there that'll
Mhm.
say, "Yeah, I'll take him in a heartbeat." I just think you're really. I think it's more of the coach trying to save his ass in a way.
Yeah, I definitely could see that. Give me like 21-10 Miami, I think. I think that's a good score. I think that's kind of what we're shaking out to.
Yeah.
Sorry for that brief cut, but we are back, and we want to move on to the Bucks versus Chiefs game, and so there's no other time than the present to go to Cox for this one.
yeah. I mean, we covered it a bit earlier, talking about. So I mean, Bucks again. They got to run the ball. They got to run the ball. I don't know why they're being somewhat reluctant to do that. But Casey, you can run on them. You can run on them, and we've seen this. Keep your offense on the field. Keep Mahomes on the sideline, and you can keep it close, and you can have a shot late to beat. And I think with the way the Bucks defense, they can do that, but Casey's just way too offensively strong. They're together. They've been doing this a while now. and they're savvy enough defensive, especially if we don't have, again, if there's no Marpet, then they can definitely get to Brady and have him, probably throw a pick or two. Not out of the realm of possibility. So I just don't see Tampa winning this. I think it'll be 30 Chiefs.
Gotcha. Mario, what do you think?
I think it's going to be I think it's going to be a good game. I think Tampa's defense will keep them in the game. But I think at the end of the day, I think it's going to be listen, Mahomes is who he is. I think he'll pull something out, but I think it's going to be a close game. I'm going to say 24-21. I think it's going to be a close game.
I like that. Yes.
Yeah, no, I think it's going to be close as well. I think Brady doesn't like to lose multiple games in a row. I know he's getting old, but I think he's going to be out for blood in this one. That being said, the Chiefs are just they're just a better team. That's just the way it is. It's going to be, I'm going to go 31-28 Chiefs.
31-28 Chiefs. Not a bad scoreline. You guys hit a lot of the nails on the head here. I'm waffling back and forth because one of my major things is the thing we talked about is like Tom Brady doesn't normally lose multiple games. Like it's very much not something he does. And these Chiefs, I've said that they were going to drop one here down the stretch. And after much deliberation, this isn't the one that they dropped. I think they dropped Miami. But I wanted to pick this as the one that they dropped. Yeah, I just really, I think it's gonna be close.
It's like, whoa.
Yeah, you gotta tease him a little bit. I think it's close. This could be a field goal. This could be Harrison Butker at the buzzer. I feel like a 31-28 affair. With Harrison Butker kicking one at the buzzer to win the Chiefs this game, especially if that defense holds stout. One thing that any Brady-led team does is they expose mistakes, and the Chiefs defense is prone to making a couple of mistakes a game that he'll gash you for. So I think that's what keeps this so close. But I think, again, the talent of Mahomes and that squad. And again, I'm putting this on the leg of Butker. I think he kicks a late one as time expires to give them this game because he's done it so many times before. That's how they win these close ones. That's how they keep this momentum going. So give me 31-28 Chiefs in that one. Last but certainly not least, new friend Mario. Giants versus Bengals. Let me hear it.
Hey, listen. I think we got a gift with. Well, I hate to say a gift, but Burrow getting hurt, it sucked. But listen, I'm glad we're not facing him. We got the bye week. I love the coach. I think Joe Judge he's got that team ready to go. I mean, I know we're 3-7, but we could have easily been, double, maybe even triple the wins right now. We were in every game except for the 49ers game. I think the defense is getting healthy right now. We got X-Man, Jimenez, and McKinney coming back. I just think it's I think we'll be ready to play, and I think we will win this game, and I think it's probably going to be 27-17 game.
27-17 sounds good. Jay, what do you got?
I'm gonna have to agree. I think, again, it's not a gift, but it is kind of a lucky break that they don't have to face Mr. Burrow. I think that, and it pains me to say this because I hate the Giants, but they have the talent to win these games. And as Mario said, there's at least 3 games on the board they could have won, at least. They're in all these games.
They definitely could have won. They kind of. Or no, they did win.
They kind of botched
it. They did win. They could have botched it.
Washington game.
Oh, they win. Okay, yeah. Well, the thing is, like, this is a game they should win. it wouldn't surprise me if they lost, but I'm still gonna go with the Giants here. I'm gonna go 28-17. Finley is not good.
Yeah.
Cox, what do you got?
So I agree that no Burrow, not having no. And to the point where the Giants, I'm looking at their record and scores, everything right now. 4 of their 7 losses were decided by 4 points or fewer.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, they've definitely been in a lot of these games, and they can easily, be in a lot of these games down the stretch. But I think the fact of the matter remains is if they want to stay in it with Washington, they have to win this game, because the only other game I see on their where they're probably going to win it is the last one of Dallas. They'll be in it against the Cardinals and Browns and Ravens, but I don't beat those teams, and I don't see them even touching the Bucs.
Maybe the Browns,
maybe, but the Browns win. So Bengals and Cowboys gotta win those two. You gotta try and finish with, because I think that's the mark you kind of have to. I can't believe I'm saying that. That's the mark you kind of have to strive for to potentially win that division. That's I'm
crazy.
blown away by that. But I think they can win this game, and I think they're 30. The defense for the Giants is a lot better than people are giving them.
Yeah,
a lot better.
Sure thing.
So yeah, I think they'll be able to shut down most everybody. They'll still have a good game, but I think most everyone else they'll be able to. It'll be interesting to see It'll be interesting to see who Bradbury shadows or if they him.
Yeah, 100%. This is so funny because if we had to predict this game last week, I think everybody here would pick the Bengals, but in an odd twist of fate, it looks like it's a clean sweep for the Giants here, because I'm also going to take them. I really like Wayne Gallman a lot. I think he runs on these boys. I think he's gonna do a really good job this week. Danny Dimes is better than Finley or Allen. Whoever starts, name the Bengals QB you think is gonna play. I think Daniel Jones is better, which is depending on who you're talking to, saying a lot or not. I don't think a Duke quarterback in the top 10 is ever the pick, but that's just me.
Okay, we'll fucking buy you. So.
Hey, listen.
I'm listening.
I'm listening and I'm showing you. Number 8, right? And I'm going to tell you right now, Daniel Jones, he takes a lot of junk because he's from Duke. But I'm going to tell you right now, there's been Phil Simms and there's a few other quarterbacks that I've heard in interviews that said Daniel Jones is better than Joe Burrow. He was better than him coming out, and he's better than Joe Burrow now. I think we would have won even with Joe Burrow.
All right, so you're saying
that's okay. That's okay. You can say that all you want. But me personally,
is that your hot take of the week?
Better quarterback. That's my block of the week.
No, I think they win. I do think they win. I think you showed us that
I do think they win, yeah.
Maybe Sims and stuff have some Alzheimer's getting up there, because do they not remember what Joe Burrow did at LSU? Did they not recall what Joe Burrow did at LSU?
I was going to say, last time I remember, he winning a national title.
Daniel Jones could have thrown 95 touchdown passes in the season at Duke, and I wouldn't be convinced.
But listen, but this is my problem, because look at if you want to go to that, look at Tim Tebow.
Yeah.
Look at Mark Sanchez. It's these quarterbacks go to these big time programs.
It's different.
Tell me how did Dwayne Haskins do?
Yeah,
he was supposed to be this major quarterback, and thank God the Giants didn't bow to public demand where everybody was like, "You got to get Dwayne Haskins," and we picked Daniel Jones. Dwayne Haskins can't even carry Daniel Jones' helmet off the field.
Jeez. So. Give me 17-10 Giants, but I'm regretting the pick the more the Mario speaks.
Keep those glasses on.
I think it's great. Oh, also, all three of you, I just realized, well, not Mario because he didn't have one, but you two need to do your shot takes. I forgot about that.
Oh, fuck, I do. You're right.
So y'all strap up as I start the rapid fire section of kind of what we're doing this week with the week 12 games, and I'm on week 12. Sometimes I fuck this up. The week 12 games, the first ones I have here is Chargers versus Bills, and since he doesn't have to take shots this week, let's go with Mario. Mario, who do you got in Chargers Bills?
Chargers Bills. I'm going to go with the Bills. I think they had a devastating loss. I think they'll bounce back, and I think they're going to take it out on the Chargers. The Chargers, they just find a way to lose somehow.
They sure do.
You know,
yeah.
They sure do. Cox, who do you got in Chargers Bills?
Yeah, I'll take the Bills again. Same thing. Chargers find a way to lose. I think another thing we'll notice: Bills second half, and I think that'll be the case here again. I think Justin second, but they just won't be able to get it done.
I feel you.
31-30.
31-30. Gotcha. He has 8. Oh, he's pulling. He's pulling hard.
Oh, poor guy.
He'll be fine. He's a grown man.
It's like Adam Gase before
No, 31
at halftime.
31-10.
31-10 Bills?
No, I got the Bills. 31.
Gotcha.
Chargers. They almost lost to the fucking last week, so they're not good.
Give me the Bills as well. Make it like 21-28. My shot take for the week is even in a loss, Herbert throws for more pass yards than Josh Allen.
Ooh.
Okay.
And that's my shot take.
Oh, yeah,
That's my score for that one. 31-14.
31-14. Gotcha. The score is really just spice. Sometimes I just say I don't want to fucking think of a score and I just say who wins. So if you don't have one, there's absolutely no worries. But I appreciate the extra flavor. Next up we have Titans versus Colts. Let's go. I started with Mario. Let's go the other way around this time. Yaz, what do you got?
This is actually gonna be a good game. I feel like the Colts are surprising me a bit. I think I said the same thing last week. Which Rivers are we getting?
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
That being said, I'm gonna take the Colts here. 21-17.
Gotcha. Coxie.
Yeah, I'm also gonna go with a little tear here, big win. And I think Pittman Jr. has a big game here, really big game for him. He's really, shown, kind of to be like the number one guy there now. And he's building a good rapport with Rivers. So I think they can pass out 34-20.
Gotcha. Mario.
I got the Colts. Their defense has really been what a big surprise this year. The lights out. I think losing Buckner will hurt, but I still think they have enough talent on that defense that they're gonna pull it out. I'd like to see I think the Colts 28-21.
28-21 Colts. This is a very great game, very interesting against two teams who do a lot of the same stuff in a lot of ways. They're very well coached.
Yeah, that's why I think
it's like a grindy. They're both grindy type of teams, wear you down. That being said, I have the Titans here. I think the big thing it comes down to, the matchup to watch is the king of the South, Derrick Henry, versus the maniac, Darius Leonard. And who breaks first? That's going to be some grown man stuff going on in the middle there. A lot of contact. Who breaks first? I'm going to take the bigger dude, the scarier dude, Derrick Henry. He may not go for 100 plus, or maybe even not even a touchdown, but he'll wear them down enough late in that game where he'll make the difference. And they'll either start keying on him so hard that he goes over the top to A.J. Brown, does Tannehill. Something happens and they edge out this game. I'm going to make it, 31-30. 31-30 Titans.
Yeah, that's a good call too. I mean, wouldn't be surprised by either team winning this one. This is gonna be good.
100%. I'm very much looking forward to that game. Next up, we have Panthers versus Vikings. Let's start with Cox this time because I haven't started with him yet.
I'm going to take Panthers. They're a weird team because they're a team that can go to Kansas City and almost beat them in Arrowhead. But then they're a team that can, the Bucks and, get their score doubled. So Teddy Bridgewater's coming back, so I think that'll be a bit of a boost. I mean, still no Christian McCaffrey, which is unfortunate. But I think, do we know if Thielen's going to play?
He's currently still out with COVID, but they haven't made a full designation yet on him.
If he doesn't play, then this game isn't as close. But if he plays, it's going to be a close game. But just stop Cook. If you can stop Cook, and I stop as in air quotes, then you can kind of shut Minnesota down. I mean, I don't know. I'll take Carolina 20.
Gotcha. Mario.
I like the Panthers in this one. I think the Vikings are so overrated. So overrated. Dallas was getting all kinds of props this past week about, they beat the Vikings. Well, the Vikings are horrible. They're garbage. And they just showed how bad Dallas is on Thanksgiving. I mean,
oh my God,
that's how bad the Vikings are. I see 21-14. I think the Panthers, I don't care who's behind, and I don't care who's behind center for the Panthers. I think they're going to handily beat the Vikings, 21-14.
Gotcha. Jay, what do you got?
I got the same thing. Teddy Bridgewater is back. Robbie Anderson is fucking good. And the Panthers are tenacious as shit. I got them. Let's go 24-17. Panthers.
See, this is such a hard game to call because both of these teams are the tale of two teams. Panthers have beaten Arizona. They've beaten a lot of other great teams, but they have losses to the Bears, the Falcons, and the Vikings are a lot the same way. They've beaten some good teams and they lost to some bad teams. So it comes down again, almost in a lot of ways to the talent aspect. I think the Panthers are the better coach team. I love Matt Rule.
Yeah,
I'm a big Matt Rule guy.
100%.
Same dude.
But I think I'm going to take the Vikings here because of the Dalvin Cook factor, and especially if Thielen plays. And you got Justin Jefferson over the top. Listen, I won't be shocked if either team loses this game.
Yeah.
But based off of what I've seen from these Vikings, is they'll get you when you don't expect them to. And that's why I'm going to take the Vikings here. Another close one. Make it 23-20. Vikings there. Browns versus Jags. Let's start again with Mario.
Browns. I think the Browns are going to beat them pretty handily. Does anybody know if they're getting back? Who's the defensive guy that was out with COVID? I can't think of his name.
Myles Garrett.
Was it Myles Garrett?
Again? Yes, Garrett. Garrett was out. He missed the Eagles game. I mean, the game this past week. Yeah. So I think I still like Cleveland. I think Cleveland's going to beat them handily. I think it's going to be 21-10.
Gotcha. Coxie.
Yeah, the Browns win the games they should. It's as simple as that. And I think they'll be able to win this game no problem. It'll be 30-10. I'll take 30-10.
Wow. All right. You got it. Yazzie.
Wow.
Yeah, I'd like to root for the underdog here, but the Browns are there's just more talent on that team. It's gonna be 34-17.
Yeah. I agree. It's going to be something like that, 30-10, 34-17. I got the Browns as well. Nick Chubb is going to kill these guys. He's absolutely gonna
Yeah.
kill these guys. It's
Hunt will have a fun time too.
yeah, it's gonna be ugly. I think. I think it's gonna be the almost the confidence boost that the Browns need. They beat who they should, but you don't know if they're gonna be for real down the stretch. Sometimes you just need a little momentum on your side, and the Jags are momentum here. And yeah, I think that I'll do whatever Jay's score was. What 34-17? That one, sure. That works. We did all the next three in a row. We already did. Raiders versus Falcons. Cox.
Both defenses. The big thing here, though, is Early Jones and Hayden questionable going into this game.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you have like any two of those three that don't play, or even Jones doesn't play, that's huge. There's just too many question marks there, and I think one or two of them aren't going to play. So, and the Raiders have shown that they can be a complete. They can. So I think that the Raiders will take this one 32-23.
Gotcha. Jay?
Yeah, the Raiders, surprise team of the year, in my opinion. I'm going to go 34
Gotcha.
to like 34-17.
Gotcha,
Raiders.
Gotcha. Mario, what do you got?
I got the Raiders win. Raiders, I think Raiders are going to pull this out 24-14. I just think they have too much speed out there at wide receiver. I just think they're just going to pull it out.
24-14 is a solid score. I like that. They might not even score that though with the weapons that they are losing, depending on who plays. I'm gonna err on the side of Jones and Hurst not playing, and I'll go 24-10 Raiders. In that one, I'm high. I've always liked Derek Carr. I think they got some good stuff going on there.
Yeah.
They're going to be a team that you're going to kind of be bummed out to play if they make the playoffs, because you don't really know what you're going to get. But yeah, I don't think the Falcons are for real, really, in this. I mean, they're clearly not for real. They've lost a lot of games, but I don't think they're as sneakily I don't think they'll surprise you like they may have done some teams early on in the season with all the injuries that they have here.
Yeah.
Saints and Broncos. Let's go to Jay.
Saints Broncos. The Hill's still starting, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of a toss-up then. I'm still going to go with the Saints. That's just top to bottom the more talented team. So yeah, I'm going to go Saints just because Kamara's probably going to run all over them. Yeah, so Saints 28-14.
Gotcha. Mario, what do you got?
I got the Saints winning this one. I think it's going to be a real close game. I think it's maybe either pick 'em or a field goal. I'm going to go with Saints 21-20.
Nice. Cox.
I don't think it's that close. I think this is a double-digit difference. I mean, okay, don't get me wrong. Fangio is a good defensive mind, but there's just not enough. There's not enough tape. Not enough tape on Taysom Hill as a starting quarterback. And Sean Payton will look at the tape and be like, okay, what are the things that Denver does really well? Okay, this is how they're going to try and stop our Taysom Hill offense. Yeah, well, I'm going to throw in some FU plays to really kind of get them off balance. Sean Payton's just as good an offensive mind, if not better, than Fangio is a defensive mind. Like they're gonna expand this playbook for Hill so much more, because again, I still think they have a mindset of he's gonna take over when Breeze is gone. So they're gonna start trying to like really flush out what this offense can be under. And I think they're gonna win this one 31-20.
Yeah, I like your take on Hill there. I wasn't really a believer in him. He played well last week. Broncos are a team that can scare you. We've learned that throughout the season here. They can definitely scare you. I don't think they do it here though, especially now that like Mike Thomas has got a couple weeks under his belt, and you know the rules. You cannot guard Mike.
Nope.
So
no, you can't.
I think he finally has that game we know him for. And it's just going to be too much. There's too much to handle offensively there, even without Drew Brees. I think there's still a lot. There are a lot to handle, and that Saints D, everybody forgets, been playing like a top 5 D the last like 6 weeks. They've been really eating people, and Drew Lock hasn't proven himself to be the most composed guy when the chips are down. So give me the Saints here, like 24-12, I guess. Let's say 12 happens somehow. These scores are just flavor anyway. Oh gosh! Ooh, a great matchup here. I don't.
We're gonna rock it for the rest of the year.
Yeah. I don't remember who I started with here. I think I'm going to go to Mario first here, but a great matchup here. We have the 49ers versus the Rams, Mario.
Ooh, 49ers Rams. This is going to be a good one. I think the Rams keep rolling. I think it's a close game. I just think the Rams just have the edge. It's going to be a close one. I'm going to say it's going to be, say, 27-21. Rams.
Solid. Just to keep people on their toes, I'm going to go to Jay next.
Yeah, no, I don't think it's going to be close at all. I think the Rams blow out the 49ers. I think it's going to be like 28-10.
Gotcha, Cox.
I think the Rams are playing like the best team in the NFC right now. I think right now that's what they are. They're the best team in the NFC right now. They're the most complete football team. So, and again with the Saints, it's just because Taysom Hill hasn't been doing it long enough, hasn't shown us enough. But with the Rams offense and the Rams defense, that's the most complete team in the NFC right now. And I think they'll want to split with San Francisco at the very least, and they'll win this one at home, 7-17.
Yeah, that's the big thing informing my decision here is the Niners kind of stole one early in the season from these guys as they were still figuring it out. So I don't think the Niners sweep here. Despite the fact it looks like Deebo Samuel's coming back, that's a big boon for them. I think it's going to be
Deebo,
more.
you know?
Deebo will see you now. The thing I think I might be a little closer, maybe within 7. Give me 21-14 Rams in this one. But I think it's gonna, for me, I hate picking those because I'd rather see the Niners win here for my own personal playoff health, but I don't think with how hurt they've been, unless Raheem Mostert plays, then this is a hell of a game. But he was kind of designated to come back, but I don't know. If Mostert plays, this is a must watch game, in my opinion. But if he doesn't play, I think the Rams stick this out. So give me that 24-17 or whatever I said. I think I said 14 points before. Who the fuck cares?
You're good.
We mentioned this one in whispers a little bit, but we have Bears-Packers next. Cox, who you got in Bears-Packers?
Packers. Rodgers gets back to 29-20.
Nice. Jason.
Yeah, Packers 35-10.
Interesting. All right, Mario.
I'm going to go with the Pack, 31-10. I don't think it's close at all.
Interesting. I think this defense is better than you guys are giving credit for. So let's take a touchdown off the board. Let's make it like 24-10 Packers. I don't think Mitch Trubisky gets it done here. 10's probably generous for Mitch, if we're being honest. But that's it's how it's going to shake out. And next up, we have Seahawks Eagles. I don't remember who I went to last, so Jason gets the straw here.
Seattle. Eagles suck. They're bad. I don't know what the hell Carson Wentz is doing these days.
It's not football.
He's not the guy.
He's not playing football. That's
He's not
for
the guy. I know Seattle's like past D sucks, but like it's not gonna be close. It's gonna be like 41-10. They're gonna get destroyed.
Gotcha. Mario?
I'm going to go with the Seahawks, and it's not just because I hate the Eagles. I just think I just think they're just going to be too much. Their defense has actually been playing better. I think I just saw today the Lane, one of the I think it's Staley, whatever I think it was one of the Eagles' offensive linemen is out.
Lane Staley
out
was
for
the
a
singer
few
for
weeks.
Alice in Chains, as an FYI.
No. Are you sure you're not talking about Lane Bryant when you go shopping?
No, Lane Staley is the
No.
Alice
Could
in
do
Chains
that.
guy.
That's something.
Anyway, I know the Eagles, they just lost an offensive lineman. One of their, he's going to be out. I say 28-16. I don't think it's going to be close. The Eagles are in disarray. They don't know what they're doing. Wentz is totally lost.
Mhm.
He's totally lost. I don't get why everybody was so high on him. He makes terrible decisions. 28-16.
Gotcha. Cox 8.
Yeah, with Wentz, it's turnovers. What it is. Seattle's pass defense the last has started to kind of get it together, and so if they can solidify that defense, then they're a really dangerous team. But they will win this one handily, 41-20. And so I'm gonna for the shot take, I'll give you. It's all about the turnovers with Carson Wentz. So we can either have it be that Carson Wentz will have 3 total turnovers, or he has none. But my original one was going to be that he has 3 total turnovers. But I'll give you
I'm
guys
gonna
the
go with
option.
none.
Yeah, I'm gonna also
None?
go with
Hot
none.
take. I'll go.
Yeah. All right, we'll go with none. So I'll be ready to take my shots next week.
Lovely stuff. I can't help but agree with you guys, which I hate, because again, I want the Seahawks to lose as many games as possible. This shit's knotted up so tight. We were lucky enough to split with them. We still have to play the Rams twice, and I'm having anxiety attacks about that. Because I think that defines the division this year, is how those 2 games with the Rams go. I say week over week. In an ideal world, I'd like the Eagles to win this game. Do I think it's going to happen? Hell no, I don't. And that the problem for me with that is this is the perfect game for Russ Wilson to get back into a good, dangerous rhythm and start cooking again.
Yeah.
So it's a bad time in the season for this game to fall against a bad team. For playoff implications and such. But yeah, I think Russ, he has that bounce back. I give it's not a shot take, but a fun little thing. I think DK Metcalf catches 2 in this one for scores. Because who do you put on him? Who do you put on him? I can't believe I'm the same species as that human being. There's no way. The guy's incredible. So that's my fun little flavor there. And last but not least, allegedly on Tuesday, but really who the fuck knows, we got Ravens versus Steelers. Let's go with Cox.
Steelers, 34-21.
Gotcha. Jason.
That's it.
I'm going Steelers because Lamar's out. Yeah, it's gonna be 34-10.
Gotcha. Mario.
Steelers. And I think it's going to be a blowout. It's going to be another blowout. We got one on Thanksgiving, and we're going to have another. It's going to be 41-17.
Ooh.
I think the Steelers just have a blast. No Lamar. It's just going to be a party.
Spicy.
Yeah, no Lamar is the kicker there.
Yeah, no Lamar. I don't think
Without
this.
him, what do they have?
Yeah, no Lamar is a huge kicker here. Yeah, I think the Steelers win this game, but I think you guys are underrating that Ravens D a little bit. I don't think it's as big of a blowout. Give me 31-10 Steelers. I think you're underrating that Ravens D a little bit. I still think the Steelers win, which is concerning because they're now on the road to an undefeated season. But that's where I feel we're at.
It won't though.
We'll see. I'm always happy to see how these shake out as the games unfold week over week. It's been a lot of fun. Let's see.
Shades of the 2008 Titans.
Could be.
Steelers right now.
Absolutely could be. I took a lot of differences from you guys this week, so if you're going to climb back, this is the one you climb back in.
I need it.
So I'm very happy to hear that. Real quick, we'll do the shot takes just in case you didn't say it during your predictions. My shot take is that Justin Herbert has more passing yards than Josh Allen despite a loss. Coxie, you also said yours, I believe.
Yeah, Carson Wentz will have 0 turnovers. Not gonna happen.
So spicy. Yazzie, what was yours?
My shot take is that Sam Darnold will have 3 touchdowns.
3 TDs for Sam Darnold in that Jets
Wow.
game. That's a spicy take.
Yeah,
Mario?
Overall, running
That's a
and
spicy
passing.
meatball.
Overall. Mario, what do you got?
I'm gonna go with Taysom Hill throws 2 interceptions.
Ooh.
Okay. All right.
Solid. I like,
like
that.
it.
I like it.
I like
I
it.
like it.
I think that's spicy. So those are the shot takes.
So Mario, this means you have to be on the podcast next week when we do the shot takes to take your shots.
Hey, I'm here whenever you guys want me. Appreciate you guys having me.
Lovely stuff.
Excellent.
Yeah, absolutely. We got one more major thing to talk about before we wrap up here, friends. And it's the big debate question. I just want to talk to you all about the playoff picture right now. AFC, Steelers up top, Chiefs 2 seed, Bills 3, Colts 4, Titans 5, Browns 6, and Raiders 7. On the bubble, we got teams like the Ravens, Dolphins, Broncos, Patriots, Houston, Chargers, all apparently not eliminated. Other side, Saints at 1, Rams at 2 currently, Packers 3, Washington 4, amazingly, Seattle 5, Buccaneers 6, Arizona 7. On the outside looking in right now are the Bears, Vikings, Niners, Panthers, Lions, Eagles, Giants, all the AFC West or NFC East is still in there. So it's very compelling. It's wide open. So one of the things I want to talk about, I just want to banter about this. Do you think the 1 seeds stay the same and have the home field throughout in the bye? What are some takes you guys have about how this shakes out and how do you think this goes? Coxie, as somebody who's in direct playoff competition with me in this, with our seeds being so close, I want to start with you and see how you feel.
Okay. I will say right off, the NFC playoff picture, those are the teams that are going to be in the. That's it. The Bears, no. The Vikings, no. The Niners. You don't look at anyone 8 through 14 or 12 or whatever and go, oh yeah, I could see them making a push. No, I don't see that with any. So I think the 7 that you have right in the NFC are the 7 you're going to get.
Mm-hmm.
It's just going to be seeding. Like where does Seattle or it's going to be, the fun division there.
Mm-hmm.
But that's pretty much done and dusted. AFC is much more different. I mean, you've got 3 teams sitting at 6-4, and then you've got 4 more teams at 7-3. That is as wide open as you can get. Steelers and Chiefs are, done and dusted locks. But those teams all fighting for a position in there. I mean, you've got Colts and Titans fighting. You've got Bills and Dolphins within a game of each other fighting. You've got the Browns and Ravens fighting within division just to get playoffs. There's a lot of compelling matchups down the stretch here. You're going to be watching a lot of these AFC and wondering, oh, this team won. Oh, what does that mean for this team? Who's in, who's out? Every week it's going to change and it's different. And I think that's going to be really fun down the stretch. I don't know. I kind of feel like, though, the Dolphins were my team, my up and coming team.
Yeah.
But with Tua looking the way he did last week, I don't know. And I don't think Fitz is going to get you there either. And at this point, I think Fitz might mentally checked out a little bit. So I don't know. The 7 you have now might be getting. So, but we'll see. We'll see.
Gotcha. Mario, what are you thinking right now? I got some follow-up questions for everybody. I want to get general ideas first.
As far as the NFC goes, and I mean, it's pretty much going to shake out the way it looks right now. I mean, you got the Rams on top. I think it's a close race. It's between them and the Seahawks. As far as the South goes, that Saints Buccaneers race, it's like I said, it's 1 and 2. NFC least, the way I like to call it. Who knows? who knows what's going to go. I think it's going to really I think it's going to come down to the last game of the season, which is the Giants and Cowboys. I think it's going to come down to that game because I think everybody else is on the decline. And I think the Giants and Cowboys, even though the Cowboys got blown out, they have the easiest schedule going the rest of the way in the NFC East. And then you got Packers, Bears, and I think the Packers are just like they're way better than everybody else in that division. The AFC is really where the race really gets crazy. I mean, Bills, Dolphins. I think the Bills take it. I think the Dolphins are up and coming, but I don't think it's not their year. Colts, I love their defense, and I know the Titans are right there with them. But I just think if the Colts can stay healthy, I think that defenses win championships. As far as I'm concerned, I think that they take that. Steelers are they're the darlings of the whole AFC. I think it's their race to lose, and I think it's the Chiefs. So I think it's going to be down to I think we're going to see another Pittsburgh Chiefs AFC championship game, and I think if we're going to go down to the NFC, it's probably going to be let's see. I think we're going to go Saints. I'm going to go Saints and Buccaneers.
Ooh.
I'll take that.
Jay,
take that.
Initial thoughts, and then I'll dive into some deep dive questions for y'all.
I think I agree for the most part. I think the Steelers are going to be the 1 or 2 seed. I think the Chiefs win the AFC. Period. Mahomes he's a cheat code. It's just the way it is. We're gonna have to accept that for the next 10 or so years. But at the bottom of that, I think the Colts get the division, but I think the Titans also get a wild card.
Yep.
If I'm being honest, I really. I don't. Baltimore they look lost. Just lost. Like,
sure do.
Completely lost. Like so I don't. Maybe they make the playoffs. Maybe, and even if they do, I don't see them doing anything. The Patriots, they're not making the playoffs.
No.
In the NFC, I think the Cards have every chance to win that division. And if not,
we have
that's not a team I want to play in the world.
The easiest schedule of all the teams in the division going forward.
If they win the wild card, if they get to the wild card, that's a team I absolutely do not want to play in the playoffs, no matter who I am. Period.
I don't think anybody wants to play them.
That's a scary ass team.
Right.
If they're rolling, I don't think anybody wants to play them. So
to piggyback off of that, I think Steelers are 10-0. They're basically locked in. It's theirs to lose. I think the wildly talented Chiefs are crazy. I think it might come down to that last game between the Bills and the Dolphins to end the season to figure that out. I wouldn't be surprised either way. I think the Bills are the scarier team if they're in the wild card spot and not in the division leader spot. That's probably more advantageous to them than winning the division, if we're being honest.
That's fair. I
want to say the Colts team, I'm the only one I know of, at least in terms of Jay. I don't know if I talked about it with Coxie. I called the Colts a playoff team in preseason. I
thought they were.
Sure did. You absolutely did.
And
I didn't believe it, but now I do.
Yeah, and it's
I thought that would have been a wild. I didn't think they'd win the division.
Yeah, that division's super compelling. We've learned not to bet against the Titans in the playoffs.
5 years. Yeah.
So I think the Raiders are a team that could shock. That AFC is very compelling. The NFC is also crazy compelling.
The AFC is a shit show.
Yeah. The NFC is going to be an absolute bloodbath. Right now, the Rams are the 2 seed, pretty much exclusively based off of tiebreakers, which is insane. Personally, here's what I want. I don't want to win the division. I want to be the 5 seed because the 5 seed plays the NFC East in the first round. I want that 5 seed like you read about. split with the Rams, win the rest of your games, and hope that the Rams do the same. Because we split with the Seahawks. If we have a better record, they might have better strength of schedule. Maybe we played all the same teams though. It depends on what games they dropped. Give me that 5 seed. But that makes Seattle a scary as fuck 7 seed if that's what ends up happening.
Yeah.
I want that 5 seed. I want that NFC East team, which I personally think. Actually, we'll go around because that's one of the questions I want to answer is who is that NFC East team? I think it's Washington. I think Alex Smith has got these guys going. I rant and rave every week about the Washington front 7. Scary Terry McLaurin is a guy in this league, and you can't sleep on Gibson anymore as a legitimate running back. As a legitimate great running back. He's playing very well as a rookie. So for me, they have the most going for them in a positive direction. Does that mean it shakes out that way? Potentially not. But they're the ones I think they have the inside track on this. So those are my thoughts on the things. One of the things I want to ask you guys like basically 3 questions before we wrap up here. Who do you think wins that mess of an NFC East? Who's like your surprise team in that could make a run? And who's your shock team that you think is going to be on the outside looking in? I'll start with Jay.
A lot of questions. NFC East, I think I agree with you. I think Washington wins it. They look good. Their front 7, like you said, their front 7 is it's insane. Their front 7's crazy. Would it surprise me if the Giants snuck in? Probably not, because they're streaky. They're a very streaky ass team, and I think Mary would appreciate this comment. They're streaky and they can win those games.
Mm-hmm.
So you never know. You know, it's a weird. But if like gun to my head, yeah, I'm picking the Washington football team. The other question.
One of the teams that may squeak in but make a run.
Raiders. I could see the Raiders actually making a run.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the final one is who's like the most prominent team from anywhere on the outside looking in.
Oh, tough one. I'm sorry, Cox. The Bucks.
Bucks could slide out.
That could happen.
How? Who's going to slide in?
I'm saying that it could happen that they're on the outside looking in. It could.
But who slides in? The
on
Bears?
The NFC side?
Yeah. You realize the 8 seed is
the
8 seed's the Bears. No, it's the 8 seed is the Bears, the 9 seed Vikings, 10 seed Niners. How the Bucks fall out? The Bucks can be the 7 seed.
Right, right.
It could be the Panthers. It could be the Panthers. If the
Bucks the Bucks beat them. The Bucks beat them twice. They have the time. No way the Bucks.
Well, I guess we'll see. We're talking about the Reds. We're talking about the Washington football team.
Hey, this is what's called a hot take.
That's a stupid thing.
To avoid a full-blown conniption, I'm going to go to Cox next.
So, NFC East is Washington. They're the most complete team that I see at the moment in that division. The Giants are second to that. Was the most prominent team playoff?
Like a sneaky team that's going to make it in and make a run.
Oh, okay, yeah, that'll be the Raiders. That'll be the Raiders 100%. Because I could see the Raiders if the Raiders get the 6th seed and play Kansas City. They've already shown that they can beat them.
Yeah,
and that's they're building their roster specifically to combat Kansas City.
They sure are.
That's how they're building it.
Yeah.
So I could see that happening. And then the most prominent team to not make it, it'll be the Ravens. 100. I think it's gonna. I don't think the Ravens are gonna make it.
That's a better pick. I should have picked the Ravens. You're right.
Yeah, I don't think the Ravens are gonna make it at all.
Yeah.
And they got to play this. They got to play the Steelers. Are they going to be able to go to Cleveland? I don't know.
Unlikely.
Are they going to be able to? Are they going to be able to beat the Giants? No, because the Giants can 100% stop them on defense. The Giants can do that.
Yeah.
So,
they can score points too. That's the other thing.
Right, like
Daniel Jones can fucking sling it.
That'll be a close game.
Yeah.
So I look at the Steelers, or I look at the Ravens. I don't know. Are they going to be able to keep pace? Are they going to be able to keep pace with the Dolphins, with the Raiders, with the Browns?
Mhm.
I don't know. I just don't think so.
Gotcha. Mario, what do you got?
Let's start off with the NFC East. I think I understand where you guys are coming from, but we beat the Washington team twice already. We beat that team. We beat them twice. We own them. So until they can otherwise prove it otherwise, we own them. So I think we'll win that. I think if we win this Sunday against the Bengals, which we should, I think we'll own the East, and I don't think we look back. I think we still win. Although I do think going into even next year, I think Eagles, Dallas drop, and Giants and Washington look like they're going to be 1 and 2. I think things are flip flopping in the NFC East right now. You're seeing new coach, new regime. You're seeing the teams that are they're starting to build off, the good coaching, good defenses. So I think the Giants are going to win. Maybe I'm biased, but I just see it that way. I see the Raiders are the ones that are going to I think what you guys are saying, the Raiders, I think the Raiders will definitely be that one sneaky team that gets in there. I can totally see that. I think Gruden's got them playing tough. They're responding to him. Carr is playing. I think this is probably the best he's played since he's been in the league. I think Gruden's put that chip on his shoulder and he's answered. So I can totally see that.
Yeah,
exactly. And what was the last one again?
Who's the most prominent team that you have on the outside looking in?
Prominent team on the outside looking in. I think it's going to be the Browns.
Me too. You fucking took it.
I think it's going to be the Browns. I think I think their defense is really good, but Mayfield is so overrated.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've watched a few of his games this year. He's missing receivers wide open. I just don't see the love affair with him.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't. They have talent. That team, I mean, come on. You have, every year you have a top pick. You're going to have talent. I just think he's just not the guy. So I'm just going to say the Browns are that team that, they're 7-3 right now.
Yeah.
I just think that they just fall off the face of the earth. And they're the team that's looking in from the outside.
100%.
That's a good fucking call.
100%.
I wish I had picked that one.
I was gonna take that.
I picked Bucks.
I'll expand on that point a little bit, Mario, because I'm in the same mentality as you are. Because what I think happens is it could be a division race between the Dolphins and the Bills, but I think they both make it. All things being equal in the things that they are now, I will take Brian Flores over the Browns coach to get them into the playoffs. And that's what I think happens. I think the Dolphins either oust the Browns outright for the 6th seed in the wild card, or they may beat the Bills for the division. The Bills are a better team than the Browns and will take their spot. I think that's what happens in that amalgamation of teams. Because Browns are going to Brown. They'll break your heart, kid. That's what they do. And they're going to keep doing it. Because Baker Mayfield's not the answer. I'll say it out loud. I'll say it with my chest. Your running backs are next level. Your running backs are the establishment of that team. You get rid of Beckham because he's not working out. Landry's an okay piece at best at this point. You got to get that air attack going way harder for that team if you're going to have any sort of sustained success. So I think they're the ones who are outside looking in because they're the Browns. That's what happens. It's okay. It's you guys have done a lot better than in recent years. You take that as a win and you find a way to figure it out going forward. As for the NFC East, I do think it's Washington. I just do. They've shown me the most in the games that I've seen against them. They made the Cardinals sweat for a little bit. That was earlier on in the season. We were still trying to gel, but they had us sweating a little bit. That defense is no joke. I think Alex Smith is the ideal game manager for them in that situation, for them to not fucking blow it. And that's all you need to do in that division, is not blow it. Yeah, they took some rough losses to the Giants, and there's a chance that the Giants sneak in. I would not discount that at all. And if the Giants get in, you never know, because they're the Giants in a wild card spot. We've seen this story before. But what I'm going to say there, to piggyback off that, is if a team gets in, a team that I think makes a run at it from one of those lower seed spots, I think it's Arizona. I think that's a team, if it hits just right, maybe they get that NFC East team to start. They get rolling in the playoffs. You get some big game experience under there for Kyler Murray. I would not want to be a team who plays them in the wild card for sure, but if they get to the divisional, or Lord forbid the NFC championship game, you either get in or you get out of the fucking way there, because D-Hop's gonna play playoff football for you. It's gonna be a ride, and I'm so hoping that happens, and I'm so looking forward to it. But we got a lot of football left to play, gentlemen. Those Rams might be our Achilles heel. We never know. But I think
That's the game's left, my friend.
I think this stretch run is going to be a blast, and I hate to be a homer with that pick, but I think it's a legitimate pick. I think that you can't discount that. It's going to be fun coming down the stretch here. Like I said, we have the
Arizona is scary. They are legitimately scary.
I'm gonna go out on a limb here, and I have a feeling. I know the Giants play the Bengals this Sunday, and then we have a tough game against the Seahawks. And I actually think it's going to be a better game than a lot of people are thinking. I think the Giants have a better chance than people actually think they do. And then we play the Cardinals, and that's going to be a measuring stick for me. I want to see how we do against the Cardinals, because we actually have our defense is getting better and healthier. So I really, for me, I mean, I know the Giants aren't doing anything this year. I know that. But I want to see how they do against, say, a team like the Cardinals, who have an upper echelon quarterback like Kyler Murray, who can scramble. I mean, we really haven't faced anybody like him all year. We haven't. I guess, to me, the week before that against the Seahawks is going to be, against Wilson is going to be as close as we're going to get. But Murray is just way faster and way more elusive than Wilson was. Maybe back in the day, Wilson was that guy, but he's not that guy anymore. So, like I said, that's going to be the telling story for me when it comes to the NFC East. I know Dallas supposedly has the easiest schedule, but you know what? They're just terrible. I don't like them at all. So to me, I can see where Washington jumps out there.
He's really not. Yeah, but we got the biggest cakewalk in terms of the rest of the NFC West teams going forward. We do play the Rams twice, which is rough, and we play the Niners once, which is what it is. But the rest of our schedule is the Pats, the Giants, and the Eagles. Like,
if you don't beat the Pats, I'm like so mad at you.
There's a legitimate shot that Arizona goes 12-4. If we go 12-4, that's gigantic for us. I'm very excited for this stretch run, and I like talking playoff talk when we get to this area of the year, because there's so much up in the air, and I loved hearing y'all's takes on it, and I think there was a lot of really good points made all throughout tonight, and it was really great. But I want to say, first off, Mario, it's been lovely having you.
Yes,
we'd love to have you again if you're willing to come on.
Absolutely,
guys. Love you guys. That was awesome. Like I said, it's behind enemy lines. It's not just where you guys are at. There's a lot of people out there, and I'm definitely behind enemy lines. I gotta see these Eagle fuckers every Sunday at Wawa with their ugly ass Randall Cunningham jerseys, and I'm sure you guys gotta see
going off.
the Tom Brady and the Gronkowski the Tom Gronkowski fanny packs over at whatever convenience stores you guys got over there. The Piggly Wiggly or the Loosey Moosies. I don't know.
It's
All
Cumberland
I'm saying
Farms
is,
mostly.
I feel
Oof,
your
Cumbies.
pain, my pain. You know, it's tough when you're living behind enemy lines. It really
It
is.
sure is.
Sucks. I grew up a Jets fan in Pat's territory, and it fucking blows dicks.
Yeah. It's rough, but we appreciate you. We'll see if we can fit you in next week or in future weeks, man. We'd love to have you, but thanks for taking the
Please,
time out,
I'm
man.
here when you need us.
We really appreciate it. As always, this one's running a little long, but we got an extra person in the mix, so y'all are going to have to deal with it. But as always, I hope you guys, if you have any feedback, any thoughts, any takes in the comments down below, feel free to throw them at us. We love hearing from you guys. We love hearing different thoughts and opinions from around the fandoms, around the league, around different teams. So keep them coming. We love seeing it. But as always, I'm going to sign off letting you guys know that we hope your teams win. Unless they're playing our teams, then we hope you get blown the fuck out.
Unless they're playing us.
Yeah, and then I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. We'll be back next Saturday for some more goodness for you. Everybody say catch you later. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Catch you later. Peace out.